Thank you very much. Good morning, Chairman Budd, Ranking Member Baldwin, and members of the subcommittee. My name is Julia Phillips. I'm a materials physicist and past leader of research organizations in the private sector and at a DOE National Security Laboratory. The views I am presenting today are my own. I was a member of the National Science Board for 10 years until April 2026. For 6 of those years, I chaired the board committee that leads the congressionally mandated biennial publication of science and engineering indicators, most recently published in May. The report is a policy-relevant, policy-neutral source of high-quality U.S. and international data. The data tell a sobering story, as we've already heard. While the U.S. has led in science and engineering for over 80 years, its response to the rapid advance of China has been inadequate, and we've heard some of that, but there's more. S&T is the new global currency of power. China has pulled ahead of us in important indicators, from R&D expenditures to high-tech manufacturing. The threat to our future economic prosperity and national security is very real. The U.S. has become accustomed to the perks that go with being #1 in S&E, an outsized influence on the global S&E culture and in setting standards for new technologies. China, as we have heard, does not play by our rules and will have more influence over setting rules as its ascent continues. Absent action, we will not like the outcome. Federal investments in the S&E enterprise have been key to American success. Taxpayer-supported R&D is a balanced public investment portfolio. It supports efforts across a wide range of risk, potential payoff, and time horizon, from near-term mission needs to long-term investments in fundamental science with prospects for significant future benefits. Government-funded basic research is our nation's seed corn, an investment that has yielded impressive rewards in its contributions to our country's prosperity. This is a unique feature of American S&E, and it has paid off handsomely in discoveries that have enabled countless transformative technologies, including today's critical and emerging technologies. Part of the unique mission of the National Science Foundation is to promote the progress of science through funding research and education in all non-medical fields of science and engineering. In addition to providing seed corn, NSF exists to protect our country from scientific and technological surprise and unanticipated discovery that occurs in another country, which could have grave consequences for the U.S. Chronic underinvesting in this part of the R&D portfolio might save money in the short run, but it reduces future yields. Less seed corn for the future economic growth and competitiveness of our nation. The threats are clear to the U.S. position in S&E. There are internal threats as well as the external ones, both long-standing and newer ones embodied in new and proposed policy changes. We must address them, recognizing, preserving, and strengthening key aspects of the culture of science our country led in creating. This is essential for continued leadership at the forefront of discovery. The U.S. is rapidly approaching a STEM talent crisis cliff. Our K-12 enrollment is falling. Students are unprepared to train for STEM jobs at any level, and foreign student enrollment is dropping. World-class science requires broad participation in the global scientific community. Some fields require unique facilities built and operated by international partnerships. U.S. scientists need access to them in all fields. Open communication through publication and participation in meetings, collaboration, and dialogue is essential to progress. It decreases the risk of scientific and technological surprise, and proposed rules could sharply curtail this pillar of the research enterprise, leaving the U.S. vulnerable. A hallmark of best-in-class science is that rigorous peer review is the deciding factor in funding decisions. These decisions, which are made within high-level policy guidelines, must be made by experts in the field who cover a range of well-informed approaches. Funding decisions must thus be honored in full to preserve the integrity of the S&E enterprise. The U.S. must renew its investments in and commitment to its historic strengths in science and engineering, an open culture, active participation in the global S&E enterprise, a system where the best ideas can compete for resources, and world-leading S&E capabilities and talent. It is imperative that those very attributes that made our S&E ecosystem the envy of the world be strengthened and harnessed to create a future that is worthy of our past. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Phillip. Thank all the witnesses. Dr. Indy, you mentioned crawfish, but you also mentioned the 5,000-person team in Shenzhen ready to move on an American research accomplishment in biological engineering. It seemed like that was at speed and scales. You also mentioned your support for the creation of a biological measurement laboratory at NIST. So is China applying that scale, speed, and resourcing to metrology work and standard setting?
What I observe is China appears to be building national laboratory scale facilities for the 21st century across all sciences, and in particular in biology and biotechnology. They're advantaged in that in starting such an effort, they're not burdened by a legacy portfolio. It's easier to build a new house sometimes than renovate an old house. The work that they're capable of doing because of the capacity they have is significant in the following way. When I have an idea in biology, I won't know if it works or not until I build it and test it. Let's say I'm interested in an AI tool. If I have an AI tool that generates a string of English, I can quickly judge if that text is good or bad. But if I have an AI tool trained on DNA sequences and it generates novel DNA sequences, what do they do? If I start like TAA, TACG, what does that mean? The only way to really know is to build that DNA and test it and then see what it does and feed that measurement back into the modeling platform to get a better model. So if you want to have world-leading large language foundation models for biology, we have to have the large language laboratories to go along with it. And so that's the capacity I see being developed in Shenzhen and throughout China to scale the measurement and experimentation and prototyping and tinkering and translation of biotechnology solutions. And we just don't have anything like it. Not in the United States, not in Europe. And so that's what I see.
You mentioned it might be easier to build a new house than to renovate an old house. Understood. What are parts of the old house? If we have some of the old house that may need renovating, what are those parts that are difficult to renovate?
Thank you for your question, Chairman Budd. When I look to NIST, I see the great tradition in physics and chemistry and the science of metrology. And the culture and spirit of measurement science at NIST is like no other institution I've encountered. It's a world treasure and a national treasure. The amazing thing about biology is it's operating at the intersection of physics and chemistry and information science and energy science. And so those aspects of NIST, the tradition in physical measurement, the tradition in chemical measurement, are profoundly important to advance biomeasurement at NIST. But don't make the following mistake, in my opinion. I saw this at MIT when we started the new biological engineering department at MIT over 20 years ago.